Hello and welcome back again. This is James, creator of CoachComeback.com and founder of This Stuff Really Works and the Mind Warrior Forum, case study programs with stuff that really, actually, truly works. No theories, no gimmicks, just results. I would like to talk about today, we're going to cover what it really takes to succeed. Here are the core strategies that I don't want you to overlook, that I want you to appreciate and see how much more valuable this is than any other three-click gimmick you're going to try to learn or strategy or trick. These are the core fundamentals that you need to take into heart. These are my top 5 core skills you need to develop in order to succeed at anything. I don't care what you end up doing, what your niche is, topic, business. These are the core fundamentals is what makes 99% of the people succeed. Without these, you drastically lower your chances of getting anywhere. And that's number 1 is the ability to make decisions quickly. You're going to be hit with lots of opportunities, different things to do, different things to try, different ways to take your business. You're going to be hit with trends and stuff that are coming up. And if you spend a long time making this choice, you will miss out. I've said before that you make more money dollar per hour taking action than you do studying and learning and trying to get everything perfect before you even take action. I said that ratio of action to learning needs to be 1-to-1, where most people it's 10-to-1. They spend 10 times more on the learning than they do on actually taking action. So you absolute must is the ability to make decisions quickly. There's a quote that says something like, learn to fail better. The person who has the most success is the one who's failed more than everyone else. Babe Ruth or whatever had the record for the most home runs, but he also had the record of the most strikeouts. He swung for the fences more than anyone else, and so naturally he had more successes more than anyone else. If you only try 1 or 2 times, you may have less failures, but you have a whole lot less success. So, I mentioned this several times. I have failed at more things than most people have ever even attempted in their life. I have more I have more failures then most people have things they've tried. They'll try 1 or 2 things, say it doesn't work, they give up. The reason why I continue to, excel in the things that I've done is because by the time you see the one thing that I've done that works, you don't see that in that 24-hour period, I tried 7 other things that failed miserably, but I just kept going. While the other person is spending a month to perfect that one and hope it works, by the end of the month, he tries it, and then it doesn't work, and he's out an entire month, where in 24 hours I've tried 7 different things, 6 of them failed, and I got the one that worked, and I'm moving forward. So, ability to make decisions quickly, not be afraid to fail. That's going to be your biggest learning. The book isn't going to teach you. It's going to be your failures where you learn the most, because you're going to see firsthand. Okay, that didn't work, that did not feel good, I'm not going to do that again, or that cost me a lot of money, I'll definitely make sure I don't do that again, and you do the complete opposite, and you realize you quadruple your results faster by learning to fail better, fail faster. So, it's a bad way to say it, but you've got to fail more. That's another way to say make decisions more quickly, take more action. The number 2 is, I call it the seeing past the tip of your nose process. This one we kind of went over in day 1 and 2 briefly through a couple of the questions, but it's seeing the big picture. When I talked about people in their signature link and they're always just linking directly to a sales page or something, which is good when you're just your first contact with the person and it's buy my product, buy this, buy this, buy this. And where I said, in my signature link, one of them that I put is a link to a podcast episode that's about absolutely nothing. It's me talking with my wife an episode kind of jokingly trying to prove if she's a real person or not. The female person that is in my profile photo. So if you're taking into consideration my seeing past the tip of your nose, most people are just looking at the short term. They just look at how can I get that sale today, where I'm thinking how can I build a raving fan who stays with me, the next 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3 years following me. You get the picture? That makes sense. I know it's tough because sometimes you're in situations where you want that, you need the money right now. You want to see results right away. And all you can be driven by is that desperation to get something happening right now. So I understand it. I've been there. There are some things you can do to get quick results really fast, but even that has to be strategic and understanding that there's still a long-term effect to it. So I'll give you another example that maybe most of you can relate to, and that's maybe launching a product on a Warrior Form like a WSO or any product. And if you haven't already launched a product in any industry, I'm going to say you need to. That is your shortest path to success. Everyone who's listening to this, at some point, you need to have your own product, service, clients, coaching, whatever it is. But to ever hit the level of success that you want, you need to be selling your own stuff, not sending your traffic to somebody else via AdSense, not sending all your traffic to someone else for affiliate marketing or mobile marketing, sending people somewhere else for pennies for a click, or CPA where you're sending your traffic somewhere else for a couple dollars. At some point, you need to be selling your own stuff. That's the only way you get long-term, long-lasting, your own followers, building your own list, building your own asset. The more traffic you're sending somewhere else, the more assets you're building for someone else. There's a reason why people will gladly pay you $1 for that email opt-in for a CPA offer. It's because they're going to make 50, 30,000 times more than that back for the life of that customer. So while you're happy to get that $1.10 to send your best traffic you work for to someone else, people like me are more than happy to pay that $1 because I know the value of having that subscriber who I can now email every single day and build a bond and build a relationship, build trust, and build rapport, who will then, maybe they don't even buy my stuff later, but they promote my stuff, and then they start sharing it, and they like my articles, they like my podcasts, and now I start building these ambassadors who are helping me build my business. So if you see past the tip of your nose and not just, I just need this quick $1, so I'm going to do affiliate marketing so I can send my sales to someone who will work really hard at getting traffic. And then as soon as I get them, I'm going to send them to someone else and let them keep the subscriber forever while they buy their product and pay me 50 to 100% commission. So you got to see past the tip of your nose. So another short-term vision that people have is when they do launch a product, they launch just the front product with no back end, no continuation, no next step in mind. So they say, all right, I have this idea for a product, I'm going to launch it, and then they buy it, and they say, okay, now what? What are you going to do with your buyers? Are you going to continue it? Are you going to, do a coaching with them? Are you going to, what's the next step in the process that they would need help with? Do you have your second product kind of already outlined? What's next for your people who've just joined your list and bought your product? And most have no clue. So it's just, I made the product, I made some sales, I made money, and then that's the end of the thinking. So another thing is you've got to be able to plan ahead. So that's my seeing past the tip of your nose. That is the number 2 most important thing that really makes people succeed in any industry. So number 3, my next one is stick-to-itiveness. It's a real word, guarantee it. The stick-to-itiveness is your ability to see past what I say Seth Godin calls the dip, to stay with something that you know will work long enough to make it work. Most people will stop at the first sign or roadblock, which there's going to be roadblocks in anything that you do. So as soon as you stop and say this is hard or that didn't work and you go start something else, you're going to hit the same roadblock with that. Nothing is going to be absolutely hands-free perfect without any type of roadblock. So it's being able to just adjust. You know, if you, again, the golf reference, everyone wants to get a hole-in-one on their first shot. You know, every time a golfer hits the ball, he's hoping to hit it in the hole, right? So if he goes up there and he hits the ball and it doesn't go into the hole and go, oh, this doesn't work, and quits, you know, I'm done. It didn't go in. I failed. The game would never go on. It would never get any results because it just doesn't happen. So what do? You hit it once and it goes way to the right. Well, that's your result. You move over to where the ball is. You adjust again. Maybe pick a different club. Maybe check the wind. See where you are. Check the angle. And then you swing again. And then it may not go in the hole that try either, but you just have another result. Then you go over and see what you did, see where it's at. You check what your new goal is. Now your new goal is maybe only to hit it 10 more feet into the hole, and you adjust. So most just hit that first one, and if it's not a home run or a hole-in-one or any other crazy sports reference I can think of, then they quit. But if you can stick to something long enough to, you know, hit the ball 4, 5, 6 times to finally get it in and not just hoping for it to go on that very first try, that's what's going to help you get there. Everyone has failures, as I talked about in the first one. It's those who keep going despite the failures is the ones that hit the level of success. Because regardless, as long as you keep sticking with it and keep moving forward, that's what's going to propel you to the next level. So you got to have some stick-to-itiveness. So the next one, number 4, is you got to have valuable hangouts. So I'm not talking about Google Hangouts. I'm talking about your peer group, the people you surround yourself with, who's near you. If you are hanging out, you know, maybe not outside of work, you know, friends and family, some of them you can't help, but you know you are some equivalent of your peers, you know that. So if you want success, hang around successful people. Get into different groups, different masterminds, different peer groups. Find people who are doing what you would like to do and join up with them. Get to know them. Get curious with them. To go a little bit into some more psychology of it, there's a story or psychology has proven that you can get better. I'll use another golf reference just so we'll keep it going. It has been proven that if someone is playing golf and then they're on the golf course at a tournament with all the pros and you're just watching them play, you're not actually playing, you just watch them for all the tournaments, you just followed them around for 2 weeks straight watching the pros swing the best that they can swing. It is scientifically proven that the next time that person goes out and plays, he will swing better and he will hit better because you absorb the information you're taking in and what you're around. So another example of that is, pick a mentor, pick someone that you're fascinated in, someone who has characteristics that you would like. If you'd like to be more outgoing and crazy or something like, say Marilyn Monroe is an idol of yours, then I would say for the next month, get curious into the life of Marilyn Monroe. Start watching all of her movies. Start reading biographies. Those are one of the best, better than self-help books, in my opinion, is reading someone's biography. So if you have someone who you really aspire to be like, someone you admire, read their biography. Study them. Just watch what they do. Hang around them. Just become obsessed with that person. And you will, by default, start to adopt some of their characteristics. You just can't help it. You don't even have to study. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to try and, memorize everything that they're doing. Just surrounding yourself with them, you will start to become like them. So take a hard look at some of the people you're hanging out with and talking to and spending a lot of time with, and ask yourself, if this were true, would I want some of the characteristics of the person I'm hanging out with right now? Be honest with yourself, because whether you like it or not, you're absorbing it. You may be absorbing their mannerisms, their speech patterns, their actions, their reactions to things. You know how they say, you know, married couple, you've been married so long, you start to talk alike and sound alike. It's actually true. You do. You start to become one because you're around each other so long. You adopt each other's personality. So think about who you're around, and if you would want part of their personality and their actions and reactions and speech patterns and mannerisms, and start paying attention to who you're hanging out with, because it will come out in you. It is a must that you pay attention to that. The next one, the last one, I think, of really important things of what it really takes to succeed is you have to have an unbreakable must. So what do I mean by that? An unbreakable must is when someone are so driven that they set a goal for themselves that's an absolute guaranteed that they have to hit it because they have no choice. I know you've heard me talk about this before, but the person who says, I'm trying this out and I'm hoping that I make a little bit more money, never succeeds, because that goal is so ambiguous without any drive behind it, it won't get there. But again, the person who says, I need $1,000 by the end of this week, or my mother dies because she doesn't get her medicine, that person will find a way to get that $1,000 by the end of the week, 100% of the time. If they are driven, if you have an unbreakable must, I mean something that you are sticking to, you have a goal that's so compelled and deep ingrained to you that it's unbreakable, that there's no possibility you cannot reach it, that is what's going to drive you. So more times I've hit great levels of success when I was pushed the most, or when I felt I didn't have a choice. The WSO, the won $2,991 in 4.5 days. I did that because we had an unexpected bill that came up out of nowhere. We absolutely did not have enough for it, and we had 2 weeks to pay it, and we needed $2,000. And at that time, I hadn't done, $2,000 that quick. So I had no clue what I was going to do, how I was going to get that done. But I didn't have a choice. It was like if I didn't have $2,000 in 2 weeks, it was something bad was going to happen. Something real bad was going to happen. So because it was an unbreakable must, I don't have a choice. You need to get $2,000 in this house in 2 weeks, or we have a really big problem. So, I share the story in that. The first week, I tried an attempt. I made an attempt, something that would have normally taken me months to plan out, or something I had been postponing for months. I tried it in the first week, and I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. No result. Sulked for a little while, cried and moaned and stressed out and tried to figure out what I was going to do. If you've been there, sure you have. You've had those moments when you can pout for a little while. Didn't have time for that because it was an unbreakable must. I had 7 more days. So I planned it out again, tried it again, came up with a new plan on Sunday, and then by that Thursday I had almost $3,000. If I wasn't driven by that, if I didn't have that you must make $2,000 or something bad happens, it would have been so easy for me to just quit after that first failure. After that first week, I'd have been like, this doesn't work, because life would have just gone on. I didn't have a compelling reason to try again. I would have just been, try something else, and been on back to the forum looking for something else, or gone about my regular day. But because I had an unbreakable must, it forced me to not give up. It wasn't an option. I had to come up with it because I needed to hit that result, and I did. I absolutely did, and that's what, if I didn't have that, I would not have ever created that money. I would have not have known the power of that process, and my life would probably be completely different even to this day if I had not done that. So there's a power in setting an unbreakable must for you. So find something that compels you, that you have to reach no matter what, and then make it a must and stick to it, and then you will guarantee your success. So we're going to keep moving along. Another way to really find out, and we talked about what it takes to succeed. I also want to share with you how you can eliminate all possibilities of failure. So we talked about things that are going to keep you going, the positive traits that you need to have, but what if you could eliminate even the option of failure? So one of the best ways that I use with is eliminating the possibility of failure is the accountability partner. I've shared plenty of times that in that stage was when that was going on those many years ago. That was when I finally got my first real accountability partner. You know, for a long time I've been doing internet marketing for years, trying it, not having any success, but I was doing it all alone. I didn't know anyone, definitely not no one else in my family or anyone who was doing internet marketing. So I didn't have no one I could share it with, no one I could talk to about it, because no one else was doing it. All the ones I did share it with, of course, thought I was crazy and would be telling me to go get a job. I can't tell you how many times I heard, just go get a job, go back to AT&T, they'll take you in a heartbeat. You were there 10 years, you know, you were seasoned in, they're always looking for techs, they will hire you back, and it just wasn't an option. I just refused to give up and go back. So until I found someone who was doing something similar to me and made connections and reached out with an accountability partner, that's when everything started to change. That's when I started being able to have someone I could bounce ideas off of and share these things with. And when things got tough, I could get another opinion and say, what would you see? What would you do here? And just the more minds you have together working on stuff, the easier it is. Also, when you hold somebody, they hold you accountable to the goal you've set. So I would advise you to share your goal with someone all the time. When you've set that unbreakable must, share it with someone. Tell someone, hey, look, I decided I'm going to, you know, launch a product by Tuesday next week, you know, and say, you know, so I'm going to stick to that. So come Sunday and you haven't even started on it, that accountability partner calls you up and say, hey, how's your progress? How's it going? It's going to be, you know, you're going to have to face them and say, you know, I've done absolutely nothing. It's a little tougher when somebody's holding you accountable like that to have to face them and say that. So it's powerful. It really is powerful. If you do anything else after you leave this call, go find someone, go on a forum, go somewhere, find someone who's similar, who's doing what you're doing, and try to reach out and make an accountability partner. Join some groups, do something. Just start getting interactive with other people. Another way to eliminate the possibility of failure is redefining what failure means. So it makes it really tough to fail if you've really set what the definition of failure is to you. So for me, it may take you a little while to get there, but to me, the failure doesn't even exist. There's not an option for failure. It's just results. So it's a completely different mind shift, and it took a while to get there because, you know, I still have moments where I expect a certain result, or I have a goal and I don't reach it, and, you know, the mind wants to tell you that you failed, but, you know, I kind of always say if I'm still alive, I have not failed yet. You only fail once you've quit. Then you've failed. Otherwise, all you've gotten was a result and you can do it again. So someone has once told me, what about one that's pretty black and white, like someone who's running a race and they don't win the race, you failed. There's no way to, you know, around that to say that they did not fail. I said, again, it's your definition of a failure. If you set yourself in your mind that if I run this race and I don't come in first place and win, I am an absolute failure. But if in your mind you've already set yourself up to say, you know, if it's the Olympics, you know, I beat out a couple 100,000 of people. I am in the top 10 competing right now in the entire world. I'm already a success. You know, no matter what happens from this point, just getting here is a success for me. You know, it's tough to see it that way, but it's a mindset change you have to work on. Another way, if you can hear this, there's another funny and interesting psychology that says that when tested, Olympic champions at the end, when they test their levels of happiness after the ceremony of first, second, and third place. Remember, these are the first, second, and third people in the world. They beat the entire world. That generally, they said, first place showed feelings of being like the happiest they've ever been in their life, just euphoric and on cloud nine, insanely happy. Third place has been reported feelings of being insanely happy, highest they've ever been, cloud nine, best feeling in the world. Second place, they've shown reported borderline depressed. Now you're probably wondering, how can third place be more excited than second place? Well, because you got to think how they got there. So when it comes to first, second, and third, if you know anything about sports, how it happens, first place means they just won the final game and they're in first place. Second place means they just lost the final game and they're in second place. Third place, in most way events are structured, they just won their final game to hit third place. So usually you have to win whatever, the third and fourth place game, you have to win to get to third place. So the last move coming in, they won to go to third place, and the other person lost to get to second place. So even though they are higher, done better in the views of the entire world, their emotional feeling is lower because they just lost. So I just wanted to illustrate the power of your mind state and pre-framing what success and failure means to you before you go in. So because it's 100% your mindset of how you define failure. You can choose to react to any set of results as you want. So, you can have a launch that does 500 sales and one person can say that that's an absolute, amazing day. I made 500 sales. I've never made this much money in my life. I'm the happiest ever. And then you can have another person who's, the seasoned vet who's used to doing 10,000 sales, and it's a failure for them, and they're depressed saying, oh, this launch is terrible. Same 500 sales, depends on your perspective of how you see it. So if you can master redefining what failure means, you can eliminate those feelings altogether where you don't ever have to feel them. So it takes some work. It's not as easy as it sounds, but if you know that going in and set up what failure means to you and what success means to you, if you can find a way to remove it, it'll keep you going, because feeling that depression of failure will stop you dead in your tracks and make you give up on anything when you feel like a failure. It's not a good feeling. So know that ahead of time and address it before you even get to it. So we talked about your peer group a little bit. So I want to talk about mastering your hangout again. So I want you to master your hangout, meaning what you're hanging out with, who you're hanging out with, what you're doing in your free time, what you're doing with your work time. So one thing I want to share with you is always be a student. You should always be a student the rest of your life. Always. You should always be learning, always surrounding yourself with others who are doing better than you, always getting better, looking to grow, looking to strive each and every day. Again, be aware of products that say, oh, this is the last, such and such product you'll ever have to purchase. That's total crap. You should never be taking the last anything. If you're interested in your field, you're always going to be learning. So you'll never hear me say, this is the last marketing course you're ever going to take. That's ridiculous. There is not. You should be buying my courses and you should be buying other people's courses too. I'm never going to tell you only buy my products and this is all you need and never get anyone else's, because we're all growing, we're all learning. I still buy products. I buy more products than most. I just buy, different level of products than what everyone else is getting. But I buy high-end masterminds. I buy the high-end coaching because I always buy products from people who are doing better than me, because I want to learn from someone who's doing better than I am. So, so I study someone who I want to be like. It wouldn't make sense for me to go, and buy a product from someone who's never had any success or done anything that I would want to aspire to be. So I look for people who are doing what I would like to do before I even purchase the product, because I'm buying the person more than anything. So if I don't like the person, or I don't can't see myself being more like them, because remember, you'll adopt some of their traits, then I won't get the course. So always be a student, and obviously you're going to have to keep your mentors graduating, right? Meaning, as you get better, the people you're learning from, the people who are around you, the people who are in your peer groups, as you get better, stronger, more efficient, more effective, and more success, if the people around you are not and they're still at the same level, then you've got to keep graduating your mentors, your friends, and your surroundings. Again, that's another one of the tough ones. You have those people you've been hanging out with for a long time, and you realize you're growing and getting better, and they're still in the same place they were, long time ago. You got to graduate. You have to move up and keep getting better. Otherwise, you'll stay at the same level with them. So keep your mentors graduating. Keep hanging out with people who are better than you. Find masterminds. Get in groups. Get in groups with people who are hanging out with you. Don't be shy. Reach out to people. Talk. This is a people business. In order to succeed, you've got to be able to interact and communicate with people one way or the other, whether it's live, email, social media, Skype, phone call, webinar, teleseminar, Hangouts. This world is built on communication. You must be a student of human psychology and communication skills. So that's one thing. You just need to pay attention. Pay attention to the quality of the people around you. And what you're doing. One of my students I had, and you probably have seen him around the forum now, because he's, in the last month or two, he's just been dominating. And I'm just really, really happy. Again, I always say a proud father when I see one of my students and mastermind members just taking off so well. So one of them is, I'm going to mention his name, is Nighty. His was a really tough situation, because he contacted me deciding whether or not he was going to join my mastermind, whether or not he would have to drop out of college to do it. And I was like, should not make that decision based on whether or not you're going to join this course. That absolutely should not. But he said it was the toughest decision he ever had to make. It was an extreme struggle with his family, big fight, big blowout, crazy that he had to go through. But he did it. He made that decision, and now he's crushing it because he had an absolute must. Short version of the story, but the family basically gave him an ultimatum, was basically either you succeed, you have 1 year to prove this works, or you're going to go back to college. So he has an unbreakable must. He's like, there's no way he wants to go back to college. He wasn't even interested in what his family wanted him to do. And, he's launched, 3 or 4 or 5 products in the last 2 months. I think he has 2 WSOs of the day. One of his products, I think his first one, he did 500 sales just following what we're teaching in the group and in the mastermind. 500 sales, first time. Came out with a few other products in between. Then he relaunched the same product on a different platform, made a few changes, relaunched the exact same product, made 700 more sales. So we're talking, the starting price is between $7 and $17 plus upsells and back-end sales, plus affiliate sales and things. And now he has, a 2,000 person buyers list. Can you imagine? I'll let you do the numbers and estimate about how much this kid has made from scratch, from absolutely nothing, never making anything online, didn't have a previous list, to now being, you know, two-time WSO of the day, and having a big buyers list, and now getting a large following in a blog just by following what we learned together in the mastermind. And then, you know, another one I love sharing again because it just really puts it into perspective of what's possible, and that's the 13-year-old kid who, while still in school, I wish I was doing this young. While still in school, he used one of the things they taught, and, you know, in less than, he said it was 3 days total, he made his first money ever made online, which was like $100. He said it's not much, but to a 13-year-old kid, can you imagine how much his life has changed when he realized, you know, usually having to beg your parents for allowance or something, when you realize he can make $100 in 3 days online on his own from scratch. Can you imagine the mindset shift he's going to have and what he's going to be doing, you know, 10 years from now? 10 years from now, he'll just be 23. Can you imagine the empire and everything that he will have built? And, you know, and obviously, you know, he's a lifetime fan now. Like, he reads all my emails. He's so grateful. I'm always chatting with him on Skype. And he's just gone on to do really cool things. He's gone on to launch products and do all kinds of cool stuff. So, I just love sharing that, the power of working together with someone who's doing what you'd like to do. And I just want to share a few more. I know I've talked about Wayne. You may not know W Digital. He had launched products before. Last year, he had a WSO of the day, and he had learned from another mentor, but the process and everything that he was doing was either really time-consuming or expensive, the way he was taught. And then he came out with another product afterwards trying to use the same methods, and it was pretty much a failure before he finally came to me and joined in a mastermind, and we worked together. And then it was probably the biggest, most successful launch I've ever seen or been a part of. When that was, we worked together on, it was Cash Cow Ugly Sites, you know, and I talk about it. I have a podcast, and we interview him, and we talk about that whole process that went behind launching Cash Cow Ugly Sites. But the short front end of that, when we checked in at about 2 weeks, there was almost $40,000 in total sales in about 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not even including more of the back end, and it resulted to him for high-end coaching clients and just all kinds of stuff that snowballed from someone who was considered a veteran, who had already launched products before and already doing good, but just teaming up with the right group of people to help and kind of reassess what he was doing and work it out together. He's able to launch another one and hit almost 40 grand. You know, you're not going to hit that every single time, but since partnering with me or joining the mastermind, he has gotten 3 out of his last 5 products have been WSOs of the day, which is just amazing, and probably could have got it on at least one more if it wasn't at the same time as another huge launch. So it just made it, just bad timing, bad luck on that one, but could have still worked. So and I'm going to share one last example of Cece, my wife. We did a product together in a completely different niche, not IM, not internet marketing, not, put it like this, I don't want to share the niche or names or anything. I don't want you going out searching for her stuff, but put it like this, it was a niche neither one of us had any skills, history, affinity, list, or anything with. I mean, Cece has nothing. She doesn't have any websites, a list, probably doesn't know how to set up an email list or anything yet. We haven't even gotten that far, but this was last year. We just basically outlined what we thought would be a good product because we researched a market just to test this out. Researched a market, got together, kind of brainstormed it together, outlined what we thought would be a good product, wrote it really quick, wrote a sales letter, planned out a little quick campaign, got a traffic source that we found. This one was a paid traffic source. This one we didn't do a free one. and we set up a quick little campaign, paid ads, and sent this thing out. And again, total time from idea, launching it, getting it going, blasting out the campaign was maybe about 10 days. 10 days from scratch, maybe spent about $200, I think, total on ads and website and all that stuff. But everything else, most of the stuff we did on our own, and it did about 4,000, I think, in total sales. But since then she's not really interested in it and all that, so we didn't do any follow up and all that, and kind of just abandoned it. And then just left the sales page up, and now every now and then, once or twice a week, it still sells on its own. Where the traffic is coming from or anything, I have no idea, because I'm not promoting it, not doing anything. It's kind of basically just been sitting for months now, and it's still making sales. I have no idea how. And I have another story that just came to mind from someone who's on this call. I don't mind me sharing it, but we could probably sell CC's site for at least, since it's a product, it's already been proven, it has a sales page converting, it's already in ClickBank, you got it approved, it's selling on ClickBank. Could probably flip the site on Flippa and sell it, might make $1,500 from a couple hours worth of work we spent last year. We have that asset that we can probably sell off, because one other person told me that he used to do that on this call. He built a site, wrote a sales letter, wrote a product, and I think an upsell, created the site, got it uploaded, never even sold the product, never even made any sales, did nothing other than create a website, which you can do in WordPress in 2 minutes, write a sales letter, which I've shown people how to do in 30 minutes, a good enough converting sales letter, wrote the product out, which I've shown people how to do in about an hour, and then listed the site as a done-for-you product website ready to go, listed it on Flippa, and sold it for $1,500. I think that's what he said, if I'm getting the numbers right. Maybe it was $1,300. But that's just examples, and I could go on. If any of you on this call are in any of my mastermind groups, you know that there's plenty of other people with case studies and examples I can just show you of the power of what happens when we join forces. And start doing things together. So trust me, I know where you are right now. I know what you're feeling. I've been there. I've done that. I've tried everything. I've been doing, like I said, I've got more failures than most. I've been doing this online for long years, and I actually have less years of success than less years of trying. When I say I've got more failures than I have success. So I know I've been there when you're spending more money than you're actually making. I know that feeling when you're buying more products, wasting it on traffic and trying to get people to your sites, and seems like more money is going out than is coming in. Or I've been at a point where it's been months and I've never made a single dime any of your sites. So maybe you're at the point where you still haven't even made a single dime ever, which is probably why you're still here on this call right now. Or maybe you just don't understand marketing at all. Maybe you get it and you want to do it and you can see it, but you just don't understand how to market anything. Maybe like the example I shared on day one, I believe, for the person who had a product, listed it for sale, and it never sold, because it doesn't understand marketing and sales psychology, and all I did was rewrite the sales letter, and then it turned into a best-selling product just by changing the sales letter. So maybe you're there where you get it and you just don't understand sales psychology and marketing, but you have the hard work and you know you can put in the work, but you just don't get sales. Or maybe you're like Wayne, where the methods you're using currently get you some results, but they're just either time-consuming or too expensive, and you just want to simplify. You just want to make this streamline, automate your business, and just make it flow a whole lot better. Well, now is the time for that. Again, if you're still here on this call right now, now is your time, because you know you are better than the results you've gotten so far. You can feel it. You know that everything you've done has led you to this point right now. You can feel that you're destined for something. You know, that sense of yearning, that deep in your stomach, that twisting sensation, when you're laying there at night, like many a nights I've had, staring at the ceiling, wondering what are you going to do, knowing you should be doing more, knowing that, whatever it is you're doing day in, day out is not what you are meant to do. You can feel it, you have that yearning where there's something more that you can create. There's something more you should be doing. You should be using your creativity. You should be using your uniqueness. You should be able to wake up every day and be yourself and just enjoy jumping out of bed and doing the things that you want to do every single day. If you're listening to this right now because you have been dedicated to that dream, deep down there is a way to do it, and you'll stop at nothing until you succeed. So I just want to say bravo to you for coming this far. If you've listened to day 1 and day 2 and you're still here listening, commend yourself, because most won't even put in the work that long to listen to a call or do something like this. They're off, playing video games, or you could be off watching TV or at a buffet like I'd want to be, stuffing my face 90% of the day. But think about this moment right now. Where you are today in this moment. How many obstacles did you have to overcome to even be here listening right now? You may be sneaking off at work to listen to this. You may have had, maybe you didn't have a computer last week and you couldn't even listen to this, and you struggled and found a way to connect and get on just to hear this. Or, how many chances have you had to give up so far, where you could have easily said, I'm tired of this internet marketing, and just given up and gone to do something else? Or how many other things could you be doing right now, right? So commend yourself, because you're here right now, still here, still listening to this, and you're ready to build something amazing, and now is your time. So this is why you're here. So you need to surround yourself with something great, with great people. You need to be a part of something that's amazing. That to succeed, you need to get in on the ground floor of something magical, something with continuing education, something with lifelong partnerships, somewhere where you can build a support system that helps show you how it's impossible to fail, how to redefine what failure is and make success inevitable. So what I've decided to do as we've been going through this journey together, I've decided to take a few people on this journey with me. I no longer want to just give quick fix tips. I want to take a few people on for the next 6 months. I want to create a new life with a select few people together for 6 months. It's going to be a session where we work together, where we send your fan base through the roof, where you wake up overjoyed to work, like I was talking about. Call it work. I don't even call what I do work anymore, because you just enjoy it. I enjoy coming in here, getting on the computer, doing talks like this, sharing my experience, sharing my knowledge, and making a difference in people's lives. I absolutely love it, and I want that for you. I want you to be able to wake up where your emails are filled with people thanking you for your service and the advice that you gave them, and sharing the impact you've had on their lives. You can't beat that. Those emails are what it's all about. I love waking up to emails saying how much I've changed someone's life. I'm going to show you for the next 6 months how to build a thriving brand around your existing talents. So not teaching you where you got to learn a whole lot of new things, because you can make it work with what you already have right now. And I'm going to show you how to build a thriving brand off what you can already do, what you're already good at, or what you already enjoy doing, or anything of your choice. So you should be able to build a business off where you are right now. And I'm going to show you that over the next 6 months. So you will be in a mastermind of your peers who will support you no matter what. People in my groups, we support everyone 100%, whatever that means. Maybe not jump in front of a moving bus for you type, any type of support, but meaning when you need help, whether it's late night, you need copy edited, you need an email written, you need a promotion done, you need help on the thread defending trolls. I've had to rally the troops for that more times than not. I've even had recent partner, because of too many transactions, getting PayPal shut down. How many of you want that happen? That kind of problem where you have too much money coming in where PayPal shuts you down. I've actually had that twice with a couple of people. Well, in my support group, we have a bond with people. I know this probably freak you out, but our bonds are so close in here where someone else has volunteered to use their PayPal, their account with their money, and transfer the money to them for each sale and just send it over to them. That's the kind of trust and bond that we have, where someone else will gladly be your bank so that your business doesn't have to shut down because PayPal is down, and continue to help sales and build the business together. We go in all together. We go in intense. We go in intimate when we do this together. So I've never done something this one-on-one and this intimate before, never for 6 months, but like I said, I want to see life-lasting change. I don't want to just see quick fixes. I want to go in together and share my inside psychology behind the success, the stuff that I've never shared before, like the deep dive I shared yesterday into all the tactics that go into and the strategies that go into building a strong brand. So these are the things that you can't share in a simple PDF, the things that you don't have enough time to share live or in video because they just won't translate. These are things that only come by being around the people, using that peer group to kind of absorb what other successful people are doing. So I want you to know this is going to be the program for only a select few people, again, for the next 6 months. I want you, whether you decide to join or not, I want you to keep an eye out on the people who do join this program. They will be the ones running this field. We will take over this marketing, this whole industry. That much I can guarantee you. The ones who are with me, you will be hearing about them. You will be seeing them all over, and they will be the ones controlling this. When you look up, you will see we're dominating a whole section of this market. The ones in this group will be the leaders of the industry. When you look maybe 6 months, a year from now, and you look back at the people who joined me on this journey, you will see that they are now leading and dominating their industry. And the ones who don't join will be their followers. It's just the way it is. But they will be the ones setting the new trends. So the people who join me, we will be the ones setting the new standards of what happens in business. We'll be the ones setting the new trends. So if you want to get in, now is the time to get in, but not everyone will. As you know, this is personal 6-month journey, and it's only going to be for a select few. So for each session that we do this, if I open it again in another 6 months, it's only a handful of people, and there is a strict joining criteria. You may not be happy about this, but I have been working on all of the criteria and features and characteristics that I want someone to have who I'm going to be working with and helping build their business personally. So there is an intense about 75 to 100 point questionnaire. It's probably going to take you at least an hour to fill this out before we can decide if you can get in. And I did this on purpose. Remember I was talking about everything that I do is strategic? I absolutely made this questionnaire as tough as I could think of and as long as I could think of on purpose. You know, so many people have my other products and tell me they're upset because I forced them to sit through my 15-minute welcome video before you can go on to the rest of the course. Think about that. They just paid for the course. The welcome video has value. It's teaching them. It's something that could change their lives forever for learning something for internet marketing. And they're upset because they have to wait 15 more minutes with a welcome video where I'm introducing myself and the program, that they were forced to have to sit through that. So these are the type of people I don't want. I do not want to work with anyone who has that sort of mentality. So if the idea of spending an hour on an application that you may not even get approved for something that could possibly change the rest of your life, if that sounds unappealing to you, that is awesome. That is the reason why I did it, because I want to make sure that saves us from even having to go through the questionnaire and chat and then deciding later it's not for you. So there's an intense, it's intense. The questionnaire is long. It'll probably take you an hour, and then we're still going to get on the phone together and then decide if the program is right for you. So you're going to have to go through the questionnaire, and it's not expensive. It's not cheap. Obviously, this is not going to be a $7 ebook course. This is going to be personal, intense, 6-month business transformation where you're going to be controlling the market with me and my peers together. So here's the challenge I would like to pose to you. I want you to make the decision right now that now is your time. So I know that when you join, it'll take you to the next level. I know that I can build a business that will be thriving in less than 6 months, dominating the market, where you will be controlling your future, controlling your time, controlling your income day in and day out, like the many others that you've seen that is doing. But I want you to make that decision whether you join. Ask yourself, if you're still listening to this right now, isn't that why you're here? Aren't you here to get more help? Aren't you here to learn more, to be more, to make long-lasting change? Because the people who join with me will hit the ground running and never look back. Life-lasting change is what everyone gets when they join with me. And I've never done an intense 6-month retreat like this before. So if you are interested, either below this there will be a download for the intense application, or you can email me at mastermind@coachcomeback.com, and I will email you the application to join in if you're interested. So now is your time. I want you to make that decision, challenge you to decide why you're here, why you're listening to this to begin with, and make that decision to let's now do this together and take it to the next level. So mastermind@coachcomeback.com. And I will send you over the application, and I will look forward to speaking with you soon.